Hey, just wanted to do my second of the 5for5 vlogging challenge here. And yesterday I was talking about Dungeons and Dragons. Today I'm going to go really more into my what I actually do, and that is teach science. And I've been struggling with the idea of like NGSS and how to fit it in with the current Regents exam format that we have in New York State. I teach biology, or living environment if you know it as such, in New York State. But one of the things I've been reading lately is this book right here. It's a vision and plan for science teaching and learning, Educator's Guide to Framework for K-12 Science Education and Next Generation Science Standards and the State Science Standards. What I like about it is, well, first off, there's a lot of standards with this NGSS. I mean, you've got the science practices, science and engineering practices, and you have the cross-cutting concepts, those standards. You also have the, content-directed standards. But I've struggled how to put them together in such a way that kind of works for my class. Too many standards, kids get lost in those standards. So one of the things I really liked was when they talked about the science practices, they went into this gathering, reasoning, communicating idea and grouping them together in these different ideas. So like communicating information, argue from evidence, use models to communicate. That's to communicate. That would be like the last thing you do. Up at the beginning, you'd need to obtain information, ask questions, define problems, plan and carry out investigations, use models to gather data and information, use mathematics and computational thinking. So it really kind of made sense to me. And so as now I was trying to figure that out, at the same time, it's also introduced this grid method, which is right up here. And what I like about it is, I'm going to show you a template they have here, is they kind of take the old depth of knowledge framework, which is like level 1 being define and recall, 2 apply and demonstrate, 3 compare and contrast, and 4 infer and predict. So they're getting increasingly more difficult as you go up this framework, and they kind of structured it in such a way that seemed to make sense to me, and I had started plugging in a couple of things here. But still, the one thing I didn't like about it, and I had done a couple of units with it, is that I felt like it lost the science a little bit. What was the science? How do I put this with this? And it all made sense. Instead of using depth of knowledge, I decided to use this kind of framework, that my level 1 was going to be gathering, the next level is going to be reasoning, and then finally communicating, with connecting with the cross-cutting concepts between reasoning and communicating. So I kind of created my own, what I'm calling this science practices grid. So here it is. Holy cow, I know there's a lot on there, but I want to get the gist of it. And this is really something I've really been working a lot on. How to gather information in science using these steps. How to reason in science using these steps. How to connect things from different areas, like determine causality, defining a system, finding and using patterns as evidence, all that together. And then communicating. I even created a level 5 where you really link all of them together. You really do the true 3D model that NGSS is trying to do. So I started looking at it more. We're also an IB school, so how do I fit NGSS with IB? I found a couple of different ways, or criterion A, criterion B, C, and D, etc., that are the science area for IB MYP program. And then I also teach AP biology, and how do I fit those practices in there? So I kind of made this like, forgive me, but I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, but this is one grid to rule them all. If you get the one ring to rule them all kind of idea. So anyway, that's what I've been really working on, and it's taking some time. shout out to Dean Haakenson, who's been really helping me with this too. Doesn't teach science, but we've been looking at these grids, and in our own subject matter, he teaches geography. So yeah, I'm really excited, and well, I hope you got something out of this.